COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
The Dhamma and the Sangha. Again, our deep respect to the Venerable Mahasangha and greeting all friends in Dhamma around the globe. I'm Lisa Contium, live from Seattle, Washington, USA, with Sister Chot Sapiep, who is live from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Welcome to Dhamma Live Dhamma Sadhana program. This program is brought to you by the Dhammic Life Foundation, which is led by our most venerable Soktivi, who is currently resides at Kemra Potiram in Seattle, Washington. So the purpose of this program is to aim at propagating the Buddhist teaching in both languages, Khmer and English. And our regular program normally starts language shifting interchangeably every Friday at 9 p.m. Cambodia time and 6 a.m. Seattle time. However, today we have a very special topic for our Dhamma talk, and our time is slightly half-hour different to accommodate the time change in the USA. So we will start this program in English version today, and tomorrow we'll be launching in Khmer version. Our main purposes for this program are to disseminate the Buddhism locally and internationally, bring on the essence attention of the Buddha's teaching that is related to our daily life in society, simplifying the teaching from the ancient to the modern world, promoting the awareness of the Buddhism in Cambodia to the world, and promoting peacefulness and mindfulness living through ethics, concentration, and wisdom. Today's Dhamma discussion will be on mental health during quarantine. As you know, the outbreak of the COVID-19 health pandemic is affecting us all across the world. It does not matter if you are young or old. Does not matter if you're 99 years old, 40 years old, or a newborn baby. We all can be affected by this. So we will find out more on this Dhamma talk, possibly getting some tips that may help us on how to take preventive measures and learn how to cope and support mentally with our loved ones that are affected during the critical times of need. Again, it is with such great privilege to have our four distinguished speakers to join with us today. And before we begin our Dharma discussion, Sister Chatsapip will introduce our today's speakers. Sister Chatsapip, you're there, right?
Yes, thank you, Sister Sakon. And first of all, I would like to pay my homage to the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And my respect to our Dhamma speaker and speaker tonight as well, and in the morning over there in the United States or elsewhere. My greeting to all Dhamma friends, ladies and gentlemen who follow us tonight. Tonight we are very pleased to present to you a very useful topic on the mental health during the quarantines. As Sister Sakon mentioned, the pandemic has affected us globally, regardless where we are, and it's quite concerning right now with the community outbreak in Cambodia as well. So therefore, the Dhammika Live team have thought that it would be benefit to our audience, especially those who are currently under the quarantine, to benefit on how beyond the attention to the physical health, how we can maintain our mental health properly. So tonight we have great honor to have four distinguished Dhamma speakers and speaker joining us. So let me introduce to you. First, we have Ponte Kasapa Honkamra, who is the Executive Director of the International Cambodian Buddhist Center based in Sri Lanka. My respect to Ponte. Ponte is also the meditation trainer, and currently Ponte resides at the Vipassana Ture Buddhist Center in Udon of Cambodia. Next, we have also invited Ponte Soktivi, who is the founder of Dhammika Life Foundation. Dhammika Life Foundation is a non-for-profit organization aiming at promoting the Buddha teaching. Ponte is leading and teaching the Buddhism in English course to help the Dhamma friends to better understand not only the English terminology but also the Buddha teaching. And my great honor to be one of his students as well. Ponte latest publication is Dhamma terminology in Khmer Pali and Romnai Pali Khmer English. It has been very helpful. We often consult the terminology when we want to seek a deeper of the term. Currently, Ponte is residing at Wat Kamara Pothiram, based in Seattle of the United States. So my respect to Ponte. We also have our sister Jenny Chin, who joining us as well from the United States. So Jenny is the first generation Cambodian American, being the first in her family to be born in the United States. She spent most of her time, her life, searching for the the balance between the two identity as a Cambodian as well as Americans. So she eventually landed a position as a chef at a preschool, sharing her love of food by providing nutritious and diverse meal to young children. Always feeling restless and having a need for a creative outlet, she formed a band with her husband called Roya Ground as a way to explore her biological identity, bicultural identity, excuse me. And their music is best described as a house music with a Cambodian flavor. That sounds very nice, and I encourage all of you to check it out. Right now, she is a stay-at-home mom and caring for her two children. With her recent interest in Buddhism, during her free time, she spent it exploring the Dharma through various mediums, which have helped her to develop and deepen her spiritual practice. So, welcome, Sister Jenny, to our show again. Last but not least, welcome, Brother Chuni. Brother Nam Chuni is a mindful leadership trainer and also the author of a national best-selling book called Meditation for Energy of Life. I read it and it is very helpful, and I encourage our audience to check it out if you don't have it yet. It's really a good tip. The book is a co-published between Brother Chuni and Pante Kusapip. Um, as a former monk for over 16 years, my respect to you. And in 2019, some of you may have known Brother Chuni have devoted himself to run from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, not just for entertainment, not just for tourism, but for a very how to say, with love and compassion to do the fundraising for the Uncle Hospital for Children, and the effort have yielded a lot of support from the public, and to support the Uncle Hospital for Children as well. So my sincere thanks, and also welcome, brother, to our show tonight. So without further ado, I would like to begin our discussion. Again, our topic today is the mental health during the quarantine time. So for our audience, if you have any question, feel free to drop in the comment under the Damika live page right now, or you have practical tips to share, feel free as well. But now I would like to turn to our speaker, and we used to interact with each other in a very close and friendly manner, but that is no longer the case after the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. We have to adapt to a new normal. However, we now have to apply physical distance as well as other preventive mechanisms. So, how does this sudden change affect us mentally, especially those in the quarantine time, current period? I would like to turn this question first to Ponte TV, if you can help us, how this change affect us mentally during this pandemic. Ponte, please.
Thank you for the question. First, I would like to pay my homage to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And I would like to pay great respect to most venerable Kasapa on camera, and also all venerable monks who are watching this live show. Again, greeting to Brother Namjini, Sister Jenny, and two moderators who are joining with us in this live show. This is very great topic, and it hits on at the right time, because a lot of people around the globe, not just people in Cambodia, facing in this pandemic trouble. And so I think it will be helpful to deliver some experience and understanding in terms of mental health problem, so that people can find out more what to do and what not to during this time. So if we talk about what has changed, because of the pandemic impact, a lot of things has been changed. The way we used to live before, every single thing we used to do has been changed. as the moderator already talked about the new normal way of living. So when we adopt to a new style, a new way of living, it's not so easy for us as habit. We usually do this and do that habitually, and it's not easy to get change. So it takes time, and it needs patience and effort to be able to get used to it. Like for myself, I used to go to school before the pandemic breakout. You just go to school, meeting with friends and teachers, learning and sharing together in the classroom. But we cannot do so in a way. So this has somehow affected me, mentally as well. I could say, when being as a monk, it does not mean that I am not affected by whatever happened, because we live in a world, we live in a society, and so we are bound to to whatever comes through our ears, our eyes, our nose, our tongue, body and mind, our six senses. Anyway, we have to stay mindful, and that we're gonna talk about that uh, in detail later on. But so I just would like to say that we have been affected by the pandemic in terms of social, economic, physical, mental health, relationship. So a lot of things can be affected, and sometimes we get fear because of this uncertainty. Kind of coronavirus is also uncertainty. Someone may have lost their family, their beloved person. Some people may have lost their jobs. A lot of bad things has impacted us. Yeah, actually, with our the way we live. So anyway, I would like to uh, express condolence for those who have lost their beloved persons, and also I'm just feel grateful for all of us as we still stay alive. So this is, I mean, despite all the hardship, we are still living, and also we will try our best to live on happily amid this outbreak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ponte, for sharing your experience, and you pointed very interestingly that being a monk does not mean that you have a strong mental, even during this pandemic. So let alone imagine to the lay people who may not yet able to maintain the mindfulness during this time. You point out the experience of like being able to go to school and now you can't go, but I could also imagine because currently you are residing at what Camp Rapothiram, and normally many people may visit the monastery. So during this time, it would be even quiet. Is it correct, Monte?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, at the temple, we usually have a lot of people coming in the outbreak. So there are some restriction that people can come and cannot come. So it minimize the visit of people, and also the ceremonies that we usually held.
Thank you, Pandey. So now I would like to turn the same question to Sister Jenny. How do you think of this, sudden change affect us mentally? Please, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the question. And I'd like to also pay my respect to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and also pay my respect to the venerables that are joining us today, Venerable Kasapa and Venerable Sokdevi. And I want to thank the moderators for inviting me and to come and kind of share my thoughts and my experience on this subject too. Um, I think that as humans we are social creatures, and so to suddenly going from being able to interact face to face, even physical contact with our loved ones and our friends, to go from that to suddenly just having to stop that physical contact, stop that face to face meeting. It's definitely rough on a lot of people. And it unfortunately that can lead us to be depressed and feeling lonely, and it's very hard to adjust to. And I know that many people, um we're used to, here in America at least, we're used to the fast life. We're used to like going out and doing, you know, whether it's going to work or even going out eating and socializing with our friends. We can go meet each other at places, no problem. And then to suddenly have to limit ourselves is very difficult. And it's the same experience as like sitting yourself down to do meditation, right? At first, it's very difficult. Your mind is racing. And there are certain days for me where it's so hard that I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna try it later, and I describe it like that, where some of us, again, because we're so used to being able to go out and things like that, the idea of just being still or just being kind of quarantined in our own home, we feel restless and we're looking for something to do. And um, for many people, this was a sudden change, and luckily for me, um, I was pregnant around the time that COVID hit, and I was already preparing to, stay at home more often. Because I was preparing to be a stay-at-home mom, I wasn't working for a few months, so luckily for me, I was already mentally preparing myself to stay put anyways. Um, but the journey to do that was very difficult. And I think for me, sharing the joy of being pregnant and bringing a new life into this world with my family and friends, and you know, here in America, there's baby showers, there's people wanting to drop by and see and meet the baby and things like that. And that didn't happen. Um, my dad has only held his grandson for like his new grandbaby for maybe 2, 3 times. Um, and when we go visit my in-laws, we're outside, in 30, 40-degree weather. Just super cold, but we're so desperate for to be able to see each other that we accommodate as best as we can. Um, but also, making sure that we keep each other safe. And I definitely think it's, I feel very fortunate that um, my adjustment was very little in comparison to other folks, and I couldn't imagine having to suddenly just stop working, suddenly just your whole life gets flipped upside down like that. And like I said, I was already preparing for that lifestyle, 2, 3 months, and it was still difficult at that time. And of course, losing loved one or being scared, uh living in fear of just like not knowing what's going to happen, living in fear because of the insecurity. Um, and so, you know, for many of us, it's had a negative impact, but I know that for some people, it's actually had a semi good impact, um, because it's left us to have to reflect and prioritize our own life. My brother has given me permission to talk about this. He, had a drinking problem for a long time, long, long time. And because of the quarantine, he actually sobered up, surprisingly, because many people turn to alcohol to kind of deal with the feeling of loneliness and things like that. But for some reason, it hit my brother differently. And he ended up going to rehab for almost a month. And he's been sober ever since. And so for some folks, it's given them a time to deeply reflect on what is what's their value. It's given them the realization that they've been living their life running away from problems, and now they're looking for ways to spend time, um, you know, reaching out or just spending time to, for my brother, it was like realizing that he's been spending time with family drunk this whole time. And so he wants to know how it feels to just be in communication with us in a loving environment, in a supportive environment. And it's totally changed his perspective. So it could go both ways. It's surprising. So, I know that for me, the quarantine has given me a time to reflect as well. So, yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you, Jenny. I like the the part that you were going through pregnancy, and then you have this newborn baby, and and you were prepared to be silent, or you were prepared to adjust, you know, to be at home and spending time with your little one, and with this COVID 19, you're able to accommodate the adjustment, you know, just bringing your little one and just to kind of be distant, but at the same time that uh, you're you're bringing that love to, you know, of that, you know, within the family, sharing and caring. So that's and you know, and your brother, you know, be able to adjust, be that moment of time for his peace and to be able to find that now he's sober. So that's exciting, and that's good news actually.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing. Um, and so I wanted to also ask. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go to brother Chinny, Chunny, not Jenny. Good morning. Um, what advice should be provided to those who are under quarantine to maintain their mental health? And then please provide some of your practical tips, you know, that we can learn from you.
Uh, Thank you, sister. First of all, I would like to pay respect to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and my homage to Master Venerable Kassapa and Monipotos of TV, and my greeting to all the sister here, speaker and moderator, and also welcome everyone who are listening right now. um, Amid this intense situation, but also the good news from Sister Jenny that her product kind of transformed into a better situation, which is, I mean, it could happen in a way that it could be bad or could be good, but it's really glad to hear that. Um, my own experience within this situation, I know it's hard for everyone, not just me, not just we, us, not just Cambodia, but I mean the problem is going on. The globe is going around the world. Um, Through my own experience, my own, I feel our mind is very tricky. You know, within this situation, the more we react to the problem, the more we tend to have problem. Um, in Buddhism, the Buddha talk about accepting the reality, accepting what's happening. For example, with this, I would say there's a few things that we should consider, that we should keep and practice within our daily life practice. The very first thing, acknowledging and accepting what's happening, because we can react to what's happening, but we actually can learn how to manage ourselves to the situation, because COVID is an external and it's a world problem that we ourselves cannot handle it, but we know how to handle ourselves. Number one, and number two, within this situation, I think it's important that we, because we used to be very busy, we used to be very physical contact, we used to be in a crowded place, we go out freely, happily, anywhere we want, we fly from country to country, but now we can't even, sometimes we can't even get out of home. Right? So I think this is a moment where we should reflect that um, meditation could help something. So number one is accepting, acknowledging that this is happening, and we can react. But how can we do as a me, as a you, as a person, to help protect ourselves, to protect our family? And number two, probably invest some time to meditate, to create positive energy within ourselves, meditate and exercise, because The more we worry, the more we feel stress, we lose, we tend to lose an ability, we tend to lose wisdom to solve the problem, or and also the more we worry, the more we have intent, then the chemical energy just kind of create more and more within our body. So meditation and exercise could help both. Meditation could mentally support, spiritually support, and exercise could help bodily release. And also, there's a moment where we should learn how to cultivate more compassion within ourselves, because we can't blame for somebody who got affected with COVID because they're not careful, um, they're not doing enough. That's why they have problem, because the problem already happened. We can't blame, we can't resist, but instead learn how to cultivate more compassion. And in Buddhism, the Buddha talk a lot about the four sublime state, Brahmihyator, compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, equanimity, so all of those things, that at least we can take one, just compassion, learn how to cultivate compassion within ourselves. The more we cultivate for ourselves, the more we can spread out to friend, family, people around. And for those who got affected, so probably send them some energy, send them some love, some positive energy. And um, the last one, I think it's important. Quarantine time, 14 day. Two of my friends just got out, not 14 day, 20 day. And life is it's boring, if we're not mentally prepared. Like Sister Jenny was just saying, she's she had enough prepared for human before that happening, before that hit. So she already mentally prepared for what's gonna happen. Um, so I think probably it's a time for us to reflect. Use that isolated time, use that quarantine time to reflect ourselves, to reflect about our life. At least, like Venerable Master Sotil, we just say, be grateful. At least we have a life to live. Waking up, touching ourselves, we know that we breathe, we know that we have a life to move on. But for those already gone away, for those already in situation of COVID, so to reflect a time where probably, you know, learn more with ourselves, connect more with ourselves, enjoy the present moment, again, as a person, because we believe that the world is interconnected. The more you learn how to be able to connect with yourself, the more you learn how to protect yourself, mean you protect your family, you protect the world as well. This is what we call interconnected. We can't live alone within this. So I think it's a time to reflect, to write, to connect to ourselves and to the present moment as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That's such a lovely tips. I hope our audience knows the tips that Brother Chinny gives us. So let me just run through a little bit. One is, let's see, accepting the way it is, and meditation and exercise, cultivate compassion, and of course the quarantine time, 14 days, like he said, 20 days, some his friends, it can be very stressful, but we all can learn to accept and can be interconnected. And thank you for sharing, Brother Chuni. I'm going to move on to Venerable Hon Camera. What advice should be provided to those who are under quarantine to maintain their mental health? And please provide practical tips for us. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. First of all, let me pay my homage to the Triple Gem, the Venerable Sirs, especially Venerable Soktivi, and the co-speakers and the two moderators, friends in them around the globe. Yeah, it has been depressing for everyone, every single of us, around the globe, even we are Buddhists, because we haven't reached, the enlightenment. We still have kinds of frustration and depression and anxiety to some extent. And yeah, there are many, psychotherapies psychologists, counselors have come with different strategies to cope with the COVID-19 depression or anxiety. So mental health is the most important and absolutely essential for everyone at this time. So there are many models in health psychology and in psychology, and we call it biopsycho social model is one, and another one is, I mean, amongst the therapeutic among the therapeutic strategies used by the mental health professionals. One is, we call it CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy. So I will little bit give the tips based on those model and the therapy, and in combination with the Buddhist psychology. So first, let me say that the biopsycho social model. So for the person, for the people who are being quarantined at a quarantine center, first, as Brother Chuni said, that the first step to be taken is you have to change your mindset. This is the most important. You have to change your mindset, otherwise you will be in a trouble. So this is the first step to be taken. You have to change your mindset. Then you must take it as the opportunity to have a break, and you must take it as opportunity to have a new lifestyle, or I can call it a new routine. You have to make first. You have to make a very productive timetable for yourself. What time you should get up, and what time you should go to bed. So this is the first step to be taken, that you need enough sleep. So before going to the tips for maintaining the mental health, I want our people, or not only Cambodians, but the patients around the globe who are being quarantined. So first, you have to maintain your immune system, keep it healthy. So you have to take a good food, and second is enough sleep, and the most important is, because COVID-19 is attacking our respiratory system, our lung. So what you have to do is, you need a fresh air, and in the morning, if you have if you I mean, not if you must get up in the morning around 5, and you can expose yourself to the fresh air in the morning, and just take 100 breaths, count, like breathing in, breathing out 1, breathing in, breathing out 2. You can count it up to the 200, and you can start your day. So this is my advice. I mean, both you can benefit, to maintain your physical health and your mental health, because COVID-19 cannot attack you when your respiratory system is healthy. That is why you need I call it fresh and healthy air, so you can absorb it in the early morning, and then you can use. I think you can be provided the traditional medical care. We call it herbs. You have ginger, or you can use, how to say that, to clean your throat by using the salt water every morning. So it would be beneficial from my understanding. So, but what I want to emphasize is, you have to keep your immune system healthy, and especially your respiratory system, and have enough sleep, because the sleep is the most important at this time. And move on to the mental health. As I told you, you have to make a very productive timetable, get up in the early morning, and as I gave you the exercise to practice, count from 1 to 100, count your breath, but in early morning, because you will have a fresh air. And second point is, you can keep saying the metta phrases as much as you can. May I be well and happy. May everyone around me be well and happy. May the care, may the medical care providers be well and happy. So, you can keep it, say every single, as much as you can from the morning until you go to bed. Just keep saying it because those phrases are meaningful for your life at the center. May I be well and happy. May everyone around me be well and happy. And uh, and and the final one is, I call it in Buddhism, we call it patient restraint. In Pali we call it kanti sangha, that you have to restrain yourself by using the patience, that you have to accept the reality. This is the Buddha's advice, Buddha's recommendation when it comes to kinds of chaos or calamity, that you have to be patient, and by accepting that this is the reality of life. Okay, there is sadness, there is happiness, there is healthiness, there is sickness. So when you learn to flow with the natural phenomena, I call it natural phenomena, in Pali we call it Dhamma, that every single of us, every human being must go through this process. You cannot run, or you cannot avoid. So, like that is why there was a therapy. He said that COVID-19 cannot be responded, you know you know like fight, or I'm sorry the word, uh, uh, flight or fight. Yeah, fight or flight response. You cannot do that. But what you have to do is, you have to build up a very strong mental health, or mental energy to respond to it. So that is why I call it patient. You need patience. And the final one, what I want to say is, you have to build up a very right attitudes toward the COVID-19, that everything is impermanent, including COVID-19. So it takes time, but it takes patience for us. So we have much to be elaborated, but let me stop here. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Venerable Camera. But while you're at it, could you give us a demonstration on breathing in and out for a few minutes, since you are the master meditation trainer? You can just give us a little demonstration, a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay. So you can practice, wherever you can, on your bed, or you can go out. You can sit comfortably, or you can stand when you do it, and you can do it with eyes closed or without eyes closed. So this is the technique. When you breathe in, and then when you breathe out, you count 1. Breathing in, breathing out 2. Breathing in, breathing out 3. Breathing in, breathing out 4. Breathing in, breathing out 5. So this is the basic introduction. That's all from me.
Thank you. Hope that's a wonderful tips for all of us. And let's move on to Venerable Saktivi. What advice should be provided to those who are under quarantine to maintain their mental health? And then if you have any practical tips for us.
Yeah, so I will just raise 4 important points, and that might be some similar to what Venerable and Brother Chimney has already mentioned. But I just want to focus on these 4 things, specifically for those who are in quarantine. I know it's hard for people to be, in the quarantine place, as we know um, the tiny room, the narrow room, that can make us stressful, as we usually exposed to the wider, larger environment. But during the quarantine time, people mostly, stay in a one small room, sometimes with, you know, open window. Sometimes they might not have the window. So it sounds like very stressful, situation we can imagine altogether if we are to be placed for some days in a place where there is no window, for example. How would you feel? So I just provide 4 tips. One thing is, if you are a reader, you should spend your time, read your favorite book. I know it might be hard to read the book in that situation because you might be in fear, you might not be so healthy physically, but at least you should, you know, stay focused and bring the books with you if you're going to be quarantined. So prepare some favorite books to read during the quarantine time. Next, listening to the Dharma. If you have a radio, you have a cassette player, or maybe the phone, just download. Or we have a lot of Dharma apps in Khmer and also in English, or it can be available on social media or YouTube. So listening to the Dharma every day, that can encourage your mental health. It can make you stay mindful, and also you can gain wisdom through listening to the Dharma. A lot of things you can gain from the Dharma. And the third tip is physical exercise is as much as important as the mental exercise during this time. So some people prefer the yoga technique for their physical exercise, or it can be, any kind of physical exercise. It can be jogging, or benching, straight up, stretch up, whatever kind of physical movements that you can make to keep yourself active. Don't stay uh, lazy, or don't, stay only in one place without doing anything. So we stay in one place, but we should keep ourselves active so that the immune system becomes stronger. And last but not least, the mental exercise. So, uh, Brother Shindy and also Venerable have mentioned about the breathing exercise. There are many different, meditation techniques we can apply, not just the breathing exercise. One of the most basic one is mindfulness meditation, and that is quite important during this time to, to stay alert, to stay um, you know mindful, and to stay to keep ourselves aware of whatever is happening, so we can just be aware of what we are doing in every activity. Even you are sitting on the bed, even you are lying down on the bed, even you are reading the book, listening to the Dharma, doing exercise, you must build your mindfulness. You should stay focused with what you are doing. If you are moving your any part of the body, you're aware that I'm moving this body part. I'm raising my hand, I'm raising my feet, I'm sitting down, I'm lying down, I'm eating. So be mindful of every activity that you do, even you while you're eating, even while you're watching your breathing in and breathing out. Any activity, mindfulness should be there. So when your mindfulness gradually develop and get stronger and stronger, your mind will stay calm, and you are fully aware of the situation. So fear can, eventually vanishes when you're strongly mindful. So your mind will be healthy, your mental health will be good. And the breathing exercise, just like Venerable Gaspar already said, according to Visuddhimagga, there is a way to, you can also do the counting. If you cannot put your mind under control or your mind still wandering away, you may, start counting 1 to 10 and then come back 1 to 10. Or otherwise, just be mindfully aware of the in breath and the out breath. When you are observing your exhale, when you're breathing in, you know that it is the breathing in. When you're breathing out, you know that it's the breathing out. It is short or it is long. You just be aware, completely pay attention to your exhale and inhale without focusing or paying attention to anything else externally. But your only duty is to observe and aware of your breathing in and breathing out. So you can start by closing your eyes, sitting in a comfortable posture, and then try to focus your attention to your exhale and inhale. So sometimes you may feel the sensation that come across your nostrils when you breathe in and breathe out. You can feel some kind of sensation, either it is itching or tingling or heatness, around the area below your nostril or upper the your lips. So you can feel any kinds of sensation here. Just pay attention to that area and continue to observe your exhale and inhale. I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out. I know it's breathing out, short or long. Just stay focused. I think it will help in some way. So it might be hard for the first time if you have never tried it before, but it should be tried, and you should, try your best to do it, because you might not have any other better solution to do, but I think this is a good way to motivate yourself to stay healthy and mindful. Thank you.
Thank you. That's lovely. Breathing in, breathing out, and being aware of whether you're reading or sitting still or whether you're in bed. I actually practiced that this week. It's just to kind of bring myself in, you know, what am I doing? Where is my mind thinking? And so being aware and be mindful is very important for us anyway. Yeah. So thank you for sharing. And so let's go back. Let's see, sister Jenny, would you mind give us some practical tips and what there's things that we can do under quarantine to maintain, our mental health?
Sure. And thank you for this question as well. My tips, I think all of the speakers did a really good job. I don't really want to repeat anything. So, um, for me, as a lay person, being quarantined here, I know physical activity for some of us, it might be difficult just because maybe we're not used to it. Some of us might think, oh, being active. Um, it takes too much time or things like that. And so for me, I've learned to um, things like physical activity. My husband, who's a DJ, he would blast the music and we would just have a dance party in our own home, and it gets my heart rate going. I'm dancing, I'm singing. And so physical activity doesn't have to be like a boring walk, or it doesn't have to be, um, you know, although some people really enjoy that. So, but for me, that type of thing is really difficult to wrap my mind around. Um, and so I enjoy like maybe playing chase with your kids, riding a bike, something that brings you joy because it just makes that physical activity a lot easier. And it makes you want to continue to do it too. Going out, I'm very lucky to live right next to a park. So, there's we can play basketball. There's even a tennis court. So again, it's all about just finding something that brings you joy, that serves you two purposes, which is bringing you joy and keeping your mental state healthy, but also your physical activity. Uh, and we live in a day and age now where all the information is at the tip of our fingers. Literally, if you have a phone, you can watch YouTube videos or you can even read a book. There's ebooks and all that stuff. So, when it comes to like stimulating and keeping your mental health, be aware of what you're watching and what you're consuming. And I think that I've spent a lot of time just listening to the Dharma online, and my Khmer is not very good, and so sometimes listening to Cambodian monks is very difficult for me, and I find myself getting really frustrated. I find myself getting confused, and there's nothing wrong with listening to an English speaking monk as well. So I've turned to Venerable Punaji. He's a Sri Lankan monk that I've definitely enjoy watching and listening to. Um, and I noticed that when I listen to the Dharma, it brings a sense of joy and like that wisdom, like that understanding of like, oh, this is why this is why my parents are like this, or this is why, um, I don't know. It's just like learning an information that's extremely useful, and you're just like, aha, like again, you're just retraining your brain to to find joy and to find it distracts you from being depressed, and it distracts you from feeling lonely and things like that. You can still make good use of your time by taking refuge in the triple gem, and it can be in multiple ways too, just like also like meditating. One thing that I also do when I'm feeling sad and feeling like, oh, when is this going to be over, one thing that I've learned is the five remembrances. um, it's let's see, I brought it up. The five remembrances of I am of the nature to grow old. There's no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There's no way to escape ill health. I am of the nature to die. There's no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Um, and for me, it sounds kind of depressing for anybody who, maybe never have thought about just like our mortality. But for me, when I remind myself of those things, it encourages me to make the most out of what I have right now. It reminds me to live in the present moment. Um, do I want to spend my time depressed and angry, and arguing with people, or you know no, I don't. That's suffering right there, right? So how can we alleviate that suffering? And for me, it's been turning myself to the Dharma, reading books, listening to Dharma talks, um, and of course that physical activity is very important too, and sleep, and just like everyone has mentioned so far, even when you're laying down, you can meditate. A lot of people think meditation is just sitting down and breathing in, breathing out. No, no, no. You can meditate when you're cooking, just being aware that I'm turning on the oven, this thing is cooking, it's getting hot, the chemicals are changing, in your food, or even doing the dishes. And I notice when I become mindful of those things, I actually enjoy it. It's really weird. I don't know how to explain this. Maybe one of our monk friends could explain that. But for some reason, when I'm kind of just like, I'm, wiping the dishes and I'm rinsing my plate now and I'm putting it in, when I'm so mindful like that, for some reason, these things actually become like a joy to do. And, when I do, I just remind myself that like I'm serving a purpose. Like I'm keeping my house clean. I'm feeding my children. They're happy. We're in a happy home. And again, it just makes the time so much easier and less sufferable because I'm finding joy in even the littlest things. So that's my practical advice.
Thank you so much, Ponte, brother and sister, for sharing certain practical tips. I hope our audience have captured that. I could just sum up a bit. I have learned from all the speakers, regarding certain, like practice start with changing the mindset, start to have a good routine attitude, like getting up early, do certain exercise, or, try to do certain meditation to observe the fresh air, And also, with the meta meditation or meta practice, like Pante Kasapat have said, keep reminding ourselves, thinking that, may I be happy, may my relative be happy, may all the medical team who serve us be happy. All of this can help us to, to feel good, but also, we may not recognize how powerful the meta meditation could help us to be happy, but also for the other to be benefit from this meditation. And Fonte also share, some practical tip. If you are the reader, find a good book or your favorite book to read. For those who know yoga, do the yoga, and especially the mental exercise. And Fonte have demonstrated us. Somehow, before I move to the next question, because I know Brother Chuni, through certain course that he held with our team. I like the mindful eating, and I believe that people who are under the quarantine situation, more or less you are alone, and probably that is a good time while we are eating. Maybe normally we have we have meal together with the family. We used to the kind of the feeling of having people sharing the table with us. But now during the quarantine situation, we are eating alone. It feels sad, isn't it? But I think mindful meditation may help us. So, would you mind share us, a practical way to think, to guide us how to do mindful eating, please, brother?
Thank you, Sister Sophia. Um, I think we talk a lot about mindfulness practice or mindful in every activity, but mindful eating become a part of like Sister Jenny was saying while she cleaned dishes and doing this. When you become enjoy, when you become so focused, then you start to be enjoy with whatever you do. So with mindful eating, there's the certain thing to do, but in here I just like to take something very short. When the most important thing to learn also sometimes the food is on the plate. If we don't like it, we're probably not happy. If we see it's good, we're probably like happy. But we forget that what's on the table, we forget to be grateful. When we have the food on the plate, we probably forget to think what is in the food. When we look at the food, we probably see the sun, see the water, see the air. We probably see the farmer. We probably see somebody who cooked. We probably see somebody who brought the food. So all of those factors that make us grateful, and also the food that we are having. Remember, we probably forgot that millions of people are not accessing the food that we are having. So be grateful and enjoy. What we do is like this, have the food and look at the food and really look closely. And, within a heart, just say, I'm so grateful that I'm having the food right now, while millions of people are not having what? Having access to the food I'm having. So the moment that we touch this, we hold the spoon, we put the food in, and then we start to feel grateful again. The more you open up to feel grateful, the food become even more tasty because we're so used to that. Sometimes one food is eat, one hand is eating, and then the other hand is on the phone. So we don't really focus, we don't appreciate enough to what's on the mouth or what's on the table or what's on the spoon. So mindful eating is an idea for us to be connected, to enjoy the present moment, to enjoy what's on the table, and to enjoy what's in our mind. So this is in short. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. It's very helpful mindful, and I love mindful eating time. So it's very useful. I hope our audience can relate and can feel during their quarantine time, or not necessary to be just during the quarantine time. We can practice it certain moment, especially when we are dining alone. Because sometimes people may feel, oh, dining alone is so sad, but somehow, turn the sad time to be a very moment that we can feel about the food and taste the food better. Somehow, I would like to also share the tip from my side, because since the COVID time, it also frustrated somehow. I used to have a lot of meeting and meeting with different people, and then the moment that we just stay home, somehow I feel wow, it's a bit boring. But I learned certain way. One thing is to do gardening. People who have gardening, with the certain plant or tree, it is really a helpful habit for us to spend time to garden at our house. As For those who don't have a big land, for me personally, I don't have big land. So what I do is I design the garden on my rooftop. So having the rooftop garden is really helpful, because then in the early morning, like Conte had mentioned, try to spend our time in the early morning to observe the fresh air. So having a gardening at the rooftop will help us. And second thing, I'm sure during this uncertainty, people may find difficulty in sleeping. I used to have problem of sleeping as well because of the work and the tension, etc. And at one time, I learned from psychologists who come and train us. The method is really helpful, and probably you can try by yourself. Is the we call muscle relaxation. So muscle relaxation is really helpful. Like when we sleep, when we lay down on the bed, we just thinking through and allow our whole body to relax. Meaning that now we give ourselves a break time, like Conte mentioned earlier. Give ourselves a break. So starting to focus from the toe. Like let our toe or leg to relax. We use our leg for the whole day, so let it resting now. So like and step by step from the foot to the knee to the side and to up to the head. And probably if you keep practicing, so you may sleep in the middle way as well. Because personally, I keep practicing this kind of method when I have difficulty in sleeping, and somehow I could not finish up to the head. Sometimes it's just a middle way and then I sleep. So I hope this can be useful to our audience. So now I would like to turn to Pante Kasipa. Um, we talk a lot about the tip, but thinking of the relative who have their family member who may be infected, either positive or maybe during the quarantine time. So how the relative could do to cope with this challenging circumstance? Can please share us something?
Thank you, sister. So, according to this philosophy, and as well as you know psychology, so the first step to be taken is you have to take care of yourself. You have to, more concern about yourself before worrying about your relatives. It doesn't mean that you are, selfish to some extent. No, it's about uh, collective responsibility to help our relatives who are in a quarantine center, or yeah, who are tested positive. Because when you take care of yourself in a productive way, it's a way for you to encourage the person who is in quarantine center or tested positive. So when you are frustrated, when you are depressed, oh my goodness, my mom, my dad, my wife, my husband, my kid, are being guaranteed so tested positive or either negative. But so being worried, does nothing to help your relative. That is why, from this perspective, you have to take care of yourself very well in order to take care or encourage or motivate your relative. So as I mentioned earlier, the first tip I want to offer you is make a very productive timetable when you are at home. And as you said that, my first suggestion is be with the nature. If you don't have trees at your home, as Sister Joseph you mentioned, you can grow, you can plant even the even the flower, and just be happy with it, and just be with that nature. In early morning, you can pour the water. Around 5 o'clock, not 6 o'clock, and you can experience the fresh air from that flower, because tree is the most important and absolutely essential. I use it creature to help you, to heal your respiratory system, and it can give you a chance to prevent yourself from be attacked by the COVID-19, because your lung is strong, guarded by the natural and fresh air. So and that is why you must make a very productive timetable. So get up in the early morning, and as pouring the water, and yes, this is for not only the Buddhists. If you are a Christian, if you are a Muslim, you can pray to your God. Get up in the early morning. And for Buddhists, if you have a Buddha statue, you can offer him a glass of water, and beforehand you can clean him, taking a tissue, and you can clean his statue. You can clean, we call it the where you put the statue, and offering the water, and you just bow down 3 times, and that's all. And or if you have more time, you can practice a metta meditation, or and you can ask your whole family. I know it's really tough to wake up your kids, but however, you can make at 7 o'clock, or before breakfast. You can do it together, and that is why it is the way to stay united, to stay strong, mentally and physically. And at the end, Venus, if your relative, I'm sorry to say that, passed away due to COVID-19, you can pray for him, like expand your loving kindness. May you be well and happy. May you be well and happy. May you be free from the suffering. So, as the family, you can do that, because in Buddhism, it's not about going outside and arrange a big ceremony in order to transfer memories to departed ones. It's not about that. It's about mentally connected. So you can do it at home, and by just offering the water to the Buddha or the flower to the Buddha, or if not, before the breakfast, you can offer a little bit breakfast to the Buddha, and you can transfer the merits to your departed ones. If your relative is not, you know, doesn't depart, or if he is in a quarantine center, you can expand your loving kindness altogether, remembering his face, smiling face. May my husband, may my wife be well and happy. May my kid be well and happy. So you can expand your loving kindness while you are visualizing his happy face. And after that, yes, you can, sharing the responsibility, reading the books, and especially you can
clean your house together. Like my point is, the reason I ask you to make a very productive temple is to make yourself busy as much as you can. And because sometimes social media is the most, devastating thing at this moment, because you keep looking at the news and some news are fake and you feel anxious, you feel frustrated. To be honest with you, from my understanding, COVID-19 is not that, dangerous as the social media. So that is why you have to be careful not to take every single information from the social media. And that is why I ask you to make a very productive timetable when you are at home. And as Venerable Soktivi said, you can listen to the Dhamma talk, like Venerable Kusupip, or I want to say, if you are not interested in Dhamma talk, okay, sometimes sense of humor is a part of spiritual healing. You can watch, some, laughter, videos, and especially you can listen to the, I call it positive thinking talks, like TED Talk, in YouTube. So you can spend your more time very, in a productive way. And what, and then let me say this. So for the one who is, depressed from their departed one, you can change. This is a time you must change your mindset that you must worry about yourself, because from Buddhist perspective, the one who is, who passed away, he has a new passport for the next life. Because when your passport is expired, what you have to do is you have to renew it. So our departed one is lucky, to be honest with you, is lucky enough to have a new life. So that is the way you have to change your mindset, not worry, but to look at the death in a very innovative way. That next life, death is the beginning of a new life. So we have more tips, and but finally I want them to call their relative every single day to motivate them, and you can let them engage in whatever you do at home, like praying, meditating, and all stuff. That's all. And that is why my advice is, relatives who are at home must stay stronger, and because you are the one can motivate and keep your relatives stay mentally stronger. So that's all from me.
Thank you so much, Ponte, for very insightful advice to the relative, whose family member may be in quarantine or may be infected. Or because of the situation right now, we could see even in Cambodia we have people who pass away because of the COVID. So probably it's the time for us to reflect, the normal phenomena of life. It could be like aging, illness, as well as the death. But also Ponte have shared a very useful advice. Like try to keep close contact with the relative. We can't go there and meet or hug each other, but give a call. I believe that we still call each other. So call them and relate them to our to the activity at home. So treat it as a normal time as we live together. And also the metta meditation, you stress this twice, and I just want to inform our audience that after our show, there will be a metta meditation that will be guided by Ponte Kasapak. So for our audience, you can practice that together at the end of the show. You also mentioned Pante Kusapip in your speech, so I just want to make just a repeat announcement to our audience who listen to our show in English right now, because there are also some comment that why we speak in English, or why not we speak in Khmer. So I just want to repeat that our talk show will be conducted in both languages. Today we speak in English. Tomorrow our show will be in Khmer, and Pante Kusapip is also kindly spend his time joining us. So I would like to invite our audience, who want to follow in Khmer, or those who can understand our talk right now, please inform your relative or friend that they are not able to speak to listen to the English talk, so they can join us tomorrow. The same question I would like to hear from Ponte TV. Is there any other advice that you can offer to the relative during this situation? Please, Ponte.
Yeah, thank you. I think Venerable Canberra has covered a lot of points. Being relatives, we should be supportive to our family members, even they are infected by the COVID or not, because everybody is in fear right now. As a matter of fact, we can see everybody is in fear, in uncertainty, whether the COVID can spread to them or not. So we live in fear, in society, in frustration, in anxiety and frustration, in depression as well. So it is important. I think this time we should all encourage each other to stay healthy, to stay, protective. We should not put blame on one another, but we should try to encourage each other, at least to give advice, to try to minimize your travel, and going out only when it is necessary. Encourage them to do exercise, encourage each other, keep contact through phone, through social media, through Facebook. That's what I've been doing, calling to families and friends around the globe, not just my friends in Cambodia, but also in Myanmar as well. So just to encourage each other. I mean, amid the time we're facing a lot of hardship, not only the COVID, but the violence also happening everywhere around the world. In the United States, the racism, the killing. So violence, actually, they said it is a worse virus than COVID, because sometimes COVID didn't kill us, but people kill us. So during this time, we should encourage each other, stay positive, stay courageous, stay motivated, hopeful, and try to help each other in times of need, especially economic problem right now. Some of our relatives may be, lack of budget or lack of, economic support. So if we can help them in any way, we should do it. And as a monk, for us, what we can help our relatives is by giving them, Dharma. That's what we are doing right now. We are not giving just spiritual guidance in our own language, but we continue doing it in English as well, in the hope that all patients in the world who have been affected by the fear of COVID-19 would have come across our live show and kind of learn something, take something from our live show. So we're not just focusing about Cambodia alone, but Dhamma is universal. So we spread our loving kindness and compassionate heart towards all the people in the world who are in suffering right now. I think we should try to encourage each other and give good guidance to to keep them feel they are not alone. We all concerned about you, and we wish all living beings in this universe be happy and be liberated from this suffering. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Saktivi. It's very important to go and I mean it's very good tips how the ways how to we cope with this challenging time. Like Venerable Gaspat mentioned that be good to ourselves, be positive, and Venerable Saktivi mentioned be supportive with our members. Don't blame one another and stay positive. Listen to good TED Talks. And as far as Venerable, when Camera mentioned or Sister Charles Pitt mentioned, do gardening to help each other out. But I killed all the plants, so I can't do gardening. But I can listen to Dhamma talk and read books and do meditation. But yes, all those things is a great coping to cope to challenge those critical times. So I want to move on to our sister Jenny. What should public behave toward those affected so that they could be supportive and not discriminative? So could you give us could you enlighten us with that? Thank you.
Sure. First of all, I want to just give my biggest gratitude to this team, Dhammaga Talk. I know that many people have reached out and saying, why are we doing it in English? And, as a first generation Cambodian American, I don't comprehend Cambodian very well. And I remember as a child and even into my adulthood, it grew very frustrating because I would try to listen to the Dhamma in Cambodian. I just couldn't comprehend it. I couldn't understand it. And I'm so grateful that this team is doing it in English because it's connecting me to my own community, connecting me to our culture and our traditions, and it's making me feel closer to it encourages me to continue to spread our traditions and culture to our future generations too. And so you can give that message to our audiences who can only speak Khmer. Just know that there are many people that need to hear this, and I'm one of them that need to hear the Dharma. And unfortunately, there's some people that can only speak English. So again, my biggest gratitude to this team for taking the effort to taking this effort to do it in both languages. As far as how we interact with our loved ones or people who have been affected by COVID, sometimes you just have to think to yourself, like, how would I want to be treated? And how would I want people to interact with me? And when you reflect on something like that, I don't want people to treat me any differently, obviously. But I'm also aware that unfortunately I can't communicate directly with people if I was to be diagnosed with COVID. And so I think for me, one thing that you can do is offer help, and help can come in many different forms. And that help can come into maybe asking your loved ones if you can bring a meal. One less thing to think about. Maybe your friend or your family member is a parent themselves, and if they're sick with COVID, they might not be able to get out of bed to cook for their family. And so maybe just bringing a meal for them would be helpful. Maybe offering to take their children out on a walk to the playground. You don't have to go directly in the house, but you can invite them to go outside and still maintain that 6-foot distance and still be able to wear a mask, because children, they need to get out and do their physical exercise and activity as well, and they need to be mentally healthy. And so maybe you can offer taking them out, and those are the small little things. Maybe you can go offer going grocery shopping for them as well. All these things that you can do involves not actually being in direct contact with them, but you're still doing and offering a service for them, so that they feel like they don't feel as lonely, they don't feel as disconnected. um, when I was pregnant and this COVID thing happened, I'm so grateful to those friends that offered me meals, that offered just to sit outside and talk with me for a little bit, because it was getting lonely for a while. I wasn't sick with COVID, but at that time, everything was so much more strict. So everyone was just making sure to keep their distance and things like that. And I really appreciated my friends, and making me feel just a little bit excited for the baby, because it was hard for me to be excited knowing that we were going to be alone in a sense. uh, and yeah, and so again, accepting the reality, and the reality is if somebody's sick of COVID, we can't be in direct physical indoors, things like that, but we can still do things for our family and friends that are sick. And even our community, like there's a community refrigerator um, just a block away from me, and sometimes I'll put in some groceries there, just in case anybody needs it. So it helps us give a sense of purpose too, and it makes you feel like you're doing something good, um, which in turn is good for your mental health.
Thank you so much, Sister Jenny. Wonderful, and I think you share a lot of things happening, and how grateful you have been through. With friends who give you a call, or just say hi, or certain thing that we can simply do. Even during this uncertainty situation, sometimes people, feel more fear, and they feel even, and we practice the physical distance, and that have even distance ourselves even spiritually. That is challenging, and what you have shared is really great, and I love the concept of community refrigerator. That is a very interesting, and yeah, I think we can see some people start doing certain thing, by sharing some, like for example, offer free mango or free packet of food to those who are in quarantine right now. I think that is a grateful attitude, and we hope that this will continue. Um, I would like to also hear from Brother Tony. I think we talked briefly a bit earlier as well, but like how do you think, how the public should behave during this time, especially toward those who are affected. Please, brother.
Thank you, sister, once again. I was out. I missed. I missed some discussion because the internet here was gone.
So
I think,
did,
as I
did
said,
you what
I didn't
you,
really hear the question, and I just catch Jen a little bit at the end because my internet was gone.
I see. Yeah. So the question is how what should the public should behave toward those who are affected, so that we can be more supportive toward each other, as well as not to be discriminative, during this situation.
Thank you once again, sister. I think, like Jen was saying, we don't want people treated differently when we have some kind of like that COVID affected. Either offer some help, offer something in a way that we still have a care. So I would say in one situation or in any circumstances, compassion is always compassion. No matter what people happen, within that, it's important that to remember, and in those difficult moments, people do need the most is compassion and care. If we can help any material, if we can help anything, just um, cultivate love, compassion, or try to send out some message in a very positive way, on your Facebook status or on anything written, not spread out the blaming, not racist, of not talking to the family who got affected by the COVID or whoever related to the COVID situation. Said, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be surrounded with those people. I don't want. So all of this message only create more racism, only create more hatred, only create more disconnected as humanity. Um, I truly believe that, in this hard time, people need to hear persuasion, people need to hear of encouragement, people need to hear of caring, people need to hear of word as human being that we help support each other. Because you know what, at the end of the day, we don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know what's going to happen to our life tomorrow. We probably die tomorrow. I probably die tomorrow after we talk, so that, what we live today, be grateful and be aware that we have a life today. So do good as much as we can, especially in this difficult moment, especially in this difficult time. I mean, the time of need, the time of support. As I said, if we can't help material with material, money, or we don't have a community refresh, we don't have community place where we can contribute. But at least, they do something, say something like what we're doing right now. We try to help. For those who are in quarantine, for those who got um, affected with the COVID, believe that we all here with you guys. We here spread love to you all, and we here at least try to create some positive energy for our community, but for those people who are there out there as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother, and thank you, sister, for sharing earlier short and very grateful message to the public. How we should behave during this time, and I like the message that brother point out. It's not a time to spread more hate or spread more blame, but it's a time to share compassion and love and caring, and this is important. And given time, our life come to the end, and I just would like to thank to our audience who follow our show as always. But I would like to take opportunity to announce again that the same topic will be discussed tomorrow in Khmer, and we will have Ponte Kusapip, Ponte Kasapak join us again tomorrow. As well as Brother Chuni will also join, and with Sister Straightpate as the four distinguished speaker who will enlighten us further, and the Dhamma Sandhana will be conducted in Khmer language. So for those who could not follow us tonight due to the language barrier, please inform them, your friend or your relative, to join us tomorrow. And before we end the show, I would like to share the merit from this Dhamma Sandhana with all living beings in the whole universe, especially our gratitude to all frontline medical team who sacrifice their time, without having much time with their family, but they spend time in the hospital to treat all the patients. May this merit be spread to them all, and may all be happy and peaceful. Once again, thank you so much to our honorable speakers for spending time with us today. Finally, I would like to express a sincere thanks to the Dhammika Live team, the founder, the director, advisor, and especially the technical team who providing us wonderful support to make this Dhamma talk possible. Last but not least, thank you everyone for joining and following our live. So as always, now let us spend a moment practicing Metta Bhavana or loving kindness meditation together, which will be instructed by Ponte Kasapak on camera. Thank you and goodbye. Our Metta meditation begins.
Hello everyone. Let us practice loving friendliness meditation for oneself. Self-loving friendliness meditation is the first section of metta meditation. Self-loving friendliness meditation is designed to direct you to happily take care of yourself, to honestly forgive yourself, to truly accept yourself without conditions. Before starting, please find a very comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Relax your head, your shoulders, your arms, and your entire body. Please slowly take a very deep breath 3 times. When it is done, let your breath flow as naturally as it does. Observe your breath without judgment, reactions, and criticism. Just merely observe it as the way it is while you are listening to my Pali Metta chanting. Aham Now, please create a very tender smile on your face. Visualize your happy and smiling face. You are a very happy person with smiling face. Please keep smiling with honest heart, because you are going to bless yourself. Please be aware of the phrases which I am going to recite, and let yourself honestly feel the real meanings of the phrases. May I be well and happy. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from anger. May I be free from physical and mental sufferings. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. Now, take your right hand and place it on your chest, and you can mentally repeat after me. In this home, we are family. We live under the same shelter, so we must be kind to each other, be compassionate to each other, be friendly to each other, help each other, respect one another. Be happy every day. Keep smiling with honest heart. Be grateful. Be positive. Forgive even when it's really hard. Before open your eyes, please take again a very deep breath 3 times. Thank you. May you be well and happy.